welcome to Tune In Tuesday at 2. This may look spontaneous, but it takes actually a whole bunch of prep to get to the point where I turn the camera on. And this particular demo is a month prep because I experimented with all things crackle. And I started really simple, thinking this was no big deal for the 100-day project, and it got big, like really big, which you'll see in a few minutes, because I'm going to show you more than one crackle. So I have two things I'm going to do today. First is I'm going to talk really briefly about how to environmentally, how to get rid of your paint water and your kind of excess paint in an environmental way. This is something that I've been meaning to do forever, and I've heard other artists talk about it. And then another artist yesterday or a few days ago mentioned it, and I went, okay, I need to do this. For some reason, I've been avoiding it because it just sounded so complicated. It's not complicated. It's the easiest thing in the world. So I'm going to show you what I just set up. And if anybody has any better ideas, please leave it in the comments because I am totally open because this is an evolving process. And second thing I'm going to talk about is crackle. So I've got 7 different kinds of crackle, and I'm going to show you on lots of different paper, exactly how to apply it, how to tint it. So Tina, am I talking about to your environmental heart or to your crackle heart? So which heart am I talking to? Hi, Claire. So I'm so thrilled that so many of my friends are here. All of you are my friends, by the way. So let's start by talking about how to environmentally work with your paint when you're done in terms of the paint water. So I've been dumping my excess, and I use acrylic, so I dump my excess paint water down the drain. I've always done it, in spite of the fact that people say it's bad. But it also clogs up your plumbing. It's bad for the groundwater, and it's not that big a deal to do it better. So this is what another artist shared on Instagram, and I did it like 3 or 4 days ago, and I went, why have I been waiting so long to do this? So let me show you. I'm going to turn the camera around. Okay, that's my little setup I'm about to do. But let's start with this. So this is my water bucket, and it's got some dirty water in it. Actually, I have some clean water too. Only my middle one is dirty. So what I'm doing every day now, it's a really simple thing, is whatever paint now there's no paint on here because it's been soaking, but if there is any excess paint, I just rub it off, make sure it gets into the bucket, and then I take the entire bucket of water and I dump it in this larger bucket, which has a handle on it. I've already put some, this is like 1 day's worth, and then I take this. So I dump this one to this one because it holds more. It's very lightweight, but I don't want to have to dump my this bucket every single day. That would make it kind of a burden to me. So I take a couple days worth of excess water, and there's some paint solids in there too. It's not just the goopy water. And then I have a 5-gallon bucket. I need to get out of, hold on a second. I need to get out of my chair. So I have this 5-gallon bucket with a lid on it. Now this is not the actual one. This is a replica for demo purposes. But I set one like this up downstairs right next to my trash cans outside. And inside of it, I put about 5 inches of playground sand. And so every 2 or 3 days, I'm taking this bucket, pouring it into this bucket, and I'm leaving the lid off as long as it's sunny. And the sun will evaporate the water, and all of the paint solids will just sit in the sand. And according to this artist I talked to, they said this could last me years without ever having to do anything with it. But the actual sand will just kind of coagulate, whatever that word is, and then I will actually just dump the sand, but it will be a hard mass. It won't go into the groundwater. So easy peasy. So that's my environmental, how to take care of my water. Now, let me go over to my demo area for the big thing of the day. So, as you can see, I have got a bunch of crackle here. Now, let me tell you how this whole thing started. So I'm gonna, hold on. Forgot it in my camera. Hold on a second. There you go. Okay. Just set my camera up. All right. Okay, this isn't working the way I wanted to do. Hold on a second. Okay, now we're doing it. Okay, so this whole thing started because on Instagram, I had announced that I wanted to do a 100-day project. And I saw some artists doing crackle work. So I said, okay, I'll do crackle. I have 100 papers to make. Crackle sounds like I should be doing it. So I only had one crackle. I've had this crackle forever, Golden's crackle paste, never used it. So I said, this is the time. So I took this hard board, put the crackle on it. As you can see, it crackled. But to be honest, I wasn't impressed with it. Nor do I even want to, I don't really want to make backgrounds with crackle. That wasn't my idea. I wanted to make papers with crackle. And I thought all crackles were created equal. So this is the only crackle I had. I didn't know there was any other version. So I said, okay, well, maybe there's other kinds of crackle too. So I started researching it. Not only that, I didn't want to have to put it on this board. I wanted to put it on some kind of paper. So I also researched papers. So this is kind of my supply of paper for crackle. I decided, let me try out crackle on different papers that are pretty substantive like that board. So this Bristol is fabulous. This is like 100-pound paper. I mean, I could make a whole collage on this. It's really thick. I bought some mixed media paper. This is also about 100 pounds. Also really heavy paper. This is marker paper, not heavy at all, but it's highly, you can abuse it. So I thought, okay, I can put crackle on there. I tried it on rice paper, which I love, and I tried it on watercolor paper, 140 pound, thinking that all of these were substantive enough, like they would take the abuse of crackle. So not only did I get different papers, but I started finding other kind of crackles. So Joe Girl, so I know Tina, you know Joe Girl. Joe, I think it's Hey Joe Girl is her account. I asked her about crackle, and she suggested DecoArt. This is out of Canada. I got a Liquitex, I got a Deco Media paste, I got a crackle glaze. This is a Ranger texture paste, and then this is right from the craft store, distressed crackle paint. So I am going to show you each one of these. So let's start with this one, crackle paste. This is one a lot of people use because Golden is very easy to get, and this is the results it gives you. So if you put it on thin, it gives you crackle just like this, basically. So it's a pretty skinny little crackle. If you put it on thick, you can get some pretty wild crackles like that. So I'm going to show you both of those, but let me show you basically the application of this. So I'm going to make this a little bigger. As I get stuff all over my hand in the process. Okay, so this is just like yummy paste, and you just spread it on. And that's it. And that's how thin I did it. It was not very thick. To get this, I made it much thicker, but I really don't want it thick. This is not my preferred way of doing it because I want to use this as a layer that on paper, like this is actually collage paper. So I want to actually use this as a collage element with some crackle effect on it. So let me show you what you can, I'm going to go through each one of these. So that's crackle. But, here I have this, and I got these yummy cracks. So I started experimenting with how I could make these cracks even cooler. So you spray water on it, and you want to put some kind of high flow. It can be ink, and you just spray it on there. Woo! Now, is that not like the coolest thing? And let me get my water bucket back here. And then I can just, and I get some paper too. So I can just kind of wash this off a little bit. See if I can do this. This ink may have, because I actually want it to sit in the crack. Well, actually this is tinting the crackle quite nicely. I didn't expect it to do that. It doesn't always, here we go. So if I get more of that paint off, it's going to appear more pink. But I could leave it on there. I could, so it would be a more deep, depends what I wanted. I could also layer it. So I could put a matte medium on here just to seal it. And then I could layer. But as you can see, let me douse some of that. it did go in the cracks. Now I get some of the white off. So if I wanted to kind of quiet a collage down, I could put this crackle down, but still have this nice crackle in it. Now this did have orange as the base, so some of that orange was showing through, but not much. The thing with the golden crackle paste is that the crackle, at least in this case, because I really want small crackle, you really can't get much of that ink in it. That's a little bit better with that one. Now this one is actually also golden, same thing, and it was the same as this, except this was white. This was all white. So again, I just sprayed a little water on it so it was wet. And let's try a different color just for kicks. So add a little blue ink. This is Liquitex acrylic ink, and it just fills in the cracks. I think that's kind of cool. Let me just get some of my red ink off of here. So I can spread out, like kind of like just like side wash. By the way, I say wash because I'm from Washington, D.C., but it's hard for me to say it the so-called right way because I think the right way is wash. Anyway, so that's pretty cool. So you get some really nice effect if it's white on white. So that's golden. And we'll just put this aside. This is the actual. Okay, now DecoArt. DecoArt's out of Canada, and I love this stuff. But you do have to pay for shipping with this. Now, DecoArt, the end result is this. So this did have a red background when I started this. And so you can see the red came through. I don't really even need to put any kind of wash on this because it's already coming through. I did try to accentuate one by adding the same thing, and it turned it kind of pink. And again, I could layer, and I'm sure I could get it more red. And it did get redder, but I don't really see a point because I already have this beautiful red coming through. Now, the process for this is very liquidy. So you just pour it out as such. And I'm taking a clean thing here. And you just gently spread it out. And I'm putting it pretty thin. No much more than that. So this, just so you know, this crackle, this one, the golden crackle, that took like 3 or 4 hours to dry. This will take anywhere from probably till tomorrow morning before I get really beautiful crackles. But I kind of let it self-level. I don't need to do too much to let that do its thing. Now, one of the discouraging things I thought about using this, I totally love the effect of this. One of the downsides, I thought, okay, I had to get it from Canada, and the shipping was high. So I did a little cost analysis to see if this was worth it. So this product, Golden, which I thought would be the most expensive, is actually the least expensive. This costs about $1.50 an ounce. This one costs, with shipping is really high, costs $2.30 an ounce. So if you guys, any of you are in Canada, which I know some of you are, I wish you could ship it to me, but it's really heavy. That's why it costs so much to ship. But you got a really good deal here because I think it's a great product. I sound like an endorser, don't I? Now, Liquitex crackle. This is $1.50 an ounce. And the result this gives is this. Now, this was painted blue first, so you can see some of the blue coming through. I tried to tint this one, and that's okay. I actually put all blue on this one. Don't like it so much. But you can see, look at this one compared to this DecoArt. I mean, that's a big difference. And by the way, I've done this a good dozen times now. Hello, Joe. I love that you're here. Anyways, there's a big difference in crackle. DecoArt, totally superior to Liquitex. But if Liquitex is all you got, let me show you Liquitex. So we'll get another, all things being equal. It's a nice creamy stuff, all right? And you just layer it on and kind of level it out. I do it pretty thin, mainly because I want to be able to rip this, and use it. Like this piece of paper I'm doing it on, this is actually a piece of collage paper that I painted. Now I can't use it, but if I were going to lay first the collage paper down, then I could lay this on as a layer on top. And it'd be pretty cool. It had, you know, a different effect on top to kind of maybe quiet down the collage a little bit. Now, these two I'm completely crazy about. I actually went on YouTube and found a couple different artists doing demos of these and just had to get them. They happen to be the most expensive though, when you take in everything into account. The shipping, this is more expensive than the Tri-Art. So these are $3 an ounce with the shipping. So this is crackle glaze, and the crackle glaze is pretty equivalent to Tri-Art. So in fact, it has even bigger cracks. It's really quite lovely. It's very similar. However, Tri-Art is still overall less expensive. So this lovely one, which I do adore, hold on, my earphone's gonna come out, goes on like this yummy butter. I gotcha. It's just like so luxurious. I mean, it just feels really good. And that will take like 5 or 6 hours to dry as well. Now, all of these I would tint the same way, you know, so this was a plain white one that I actually put gold in the seams. And I'll show you this one. So this is a crackle glaze, or crackle paste, sorry, there's a big difference. This is crackle paste, it's just white. Now, this is just on cheap copy paper. And what's really fun about doing it on this is I can create more cracks just by flattening this baby out. It's like and this will paste down flat in the end. Let me just show you how pretty this is, because this has really big cracks, primarily because it is, it's on copy paper as opposed to something a little more high quality. But look at that. Oh my gosh. I mean, it just fills in the cracks so gorgeously. Now I'm going to spread that around just a tiny bit. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, so I've been doing this for a month. I've been doing other papers as well, like I've been doing other demos and experimenting, but on the side, I keep going back to my crackles because, I didn't have the right papers, or I didn't have, hold on, I'm going to pour off some of this. I just think that's so pretty. I mean, I could actually even use this paper. Ooh. Okay, so I just tore it. That just proves. The cool thing is, I mean, this is all tearable, you know, so I could just tear a piece of this off and use it in a collage. So if I wanted something that was kind of just like that, I mean, I actually would use this in a collage. So this was crackle paste. I'm gonna put that one down. Now, crackle glaze is probably my favorite of all of them, because whatever you paint, like I painted blue, this is the color blue right there, it comes out clear. So this was actually a white piece of paper. I just put it down. This is actually tinted with some ink on top. This was blue, but I just highlighted it with more blue, so the cracks really showed. Now this is a piece of collage fodder, and I put some of this on top of it. So I have all this texture. Now I could put some more ink on top, and I would create even more texture. So I just absolutely adore this. Like this is just a plain dark blue that I put silver on top just to accentuate the crackles. So let me show you how this goes on first. And I don't know if you can see this, but I've used almost all of it because I love it. I haven't even made a collage with this stuff yet. I just keep using it. I know, Joe, isn't it gorgeous? I mean, this is like the best stuff ever. By the way, someone suggested that I get chroma, which I have not, because I already had 7. I thought, okay, 7's a little excessive as it is, so stop. So I did not buy chroma. So if anybody in here knows chroma, which is clear. So the clear one is this. This is the crackle glaze. And by the way, I just looked this up on, you can't buy it on Amazon. You can't buy it at Michael's in the States. Jerry's Artorama, none of these places have it. So I actually had to go to Crackle. This is DecoArt Media. I actually went to their website and bought it. Well, I'm going to buy it. So it's in my cart. And that's how I know that it costs $3 with shipping. And it's in the United States. It might cost less. So it goes on like that, but it's going to dry like this. So this is a red one that's already been crackled. This is a clear one. So I'm going to show you the difference here. I'm going to add some inks to both of these. We'll do both. So what color do I want to add to these? So again, this is the crackle glaze. It's clear. And it's so irresistible that I just want to keep using it. I think, I got some gold. And I think the gold will look super gorgeous on this. Now, again, you really need it wet because you want this, and I might not even need it with this. I don't know. I just had been doing it wet for the other ones. Let me just put that on there. Oh, I know why I want it wet. Because I want it to spread out. This one's not spreading out. Come on. Cooperate. This is a demo. But it's going to work. So if I just do that, it'll get into the cracks. Just not as well as some of the other ones had done. Actually, it looks like it's brown, but it is gold. I know it to be a fact. You got it in Texas at Cheap Joe's. Oh, really? Oh. Well, we have a Cheap Joe's near us, so that might work. I didn't try Cheap Joe's. I understand that sometimes the crackle changes depending on how I put it on the surface. If you swipe up and down when you apply it, your crackles will be more vertical. Huh. Appreciate that. So you're going to have to give me a little more detail there. If you swipe, oh my gosh. See, that just added so much to that. That was kind of a boring thing, and now I got this. I would probably add some more in there. I love that. Now let's try this just clear one. This is just on drawing paper. I have to tell you that if you looked off to the side of my table, I probably have 100 different pieces of paper in different kinds of different papers, all the ones I showed you. Now that's just magic, I'm sorry. Different size papers, different thicknesses, and I had to try each one of these crackles out on every kind of paper. The good news is, it all works. Let me see if I just blot this a little bit. Oh my gosh. I just think that is so gorgeous. It's in all the cracks. Now I can let that dry. According to Chroma website, is Chroma Canadian, Joe? Or is Chroma something I can get in the States too? I'm wondering. Different degrees of crackle. I mean, the crackles are all different. Every crackle product is very different. Different degrees of crackle. Yes. So let me put this one aside. Now, texture paste. So this is a Ranger product. Chroma Crackle, but is it U.S., North America? Okay. So I'm wondering what the shipping is going to be on that. Hey, put the shipping in, Joe. See what the shipping is. Okay. Anybody use Chroma? That's what I'm curious about. Does anyone use Chroma here and tell us about it? Because I don't want to have to go buy it. When you apply the medium, pull your palette knife from the top of the paper to the bottom. Okay. I'm going to have to read that again. Okay, Crackle Paste by Ranger. Now, this is also gorgeous. So let me show you the effects of this. This also produces such beautiful. So this was, painted red on the back, and it cracked up. So gorgeous, even better than the TriArt. That's just TriArt. So this is really the one I like the most. I just think, it just pulls away in the crackle. So I just love that. So let me show you the consistency of this one. By the way, this is 215 ounce. So it's still more expensive than TriArt, even with the shipping. So I got this in the States. This is also really creamy. Goes on just gorgeously. And I don't put it on very, very thick. Just enough to cover it. And that's it. And just let it dry. But as you can see, I'm quite in love with this, so it's almost gone. So I got to get a replacement. Now, the 7th one is this one. This is actually one of the first ones I bought. I probably got this before I got the golden, and I've had the golden a long time. This is a Ranger product also. So this is also Ranger, but this is considered professional grade. This is craft grade. And let me show you the difference. This gives you the same basic effect as this, which is a glaze. It's clear. So this is one of the first ones I did. So this one I thought was pretty cool. This is on race paper. You can see it's see-through. So Chroma Crackle takes 24 hours to dry. It works really well on freezer paper because you can, so will it dry opaque or does it dry clear? That's what I want to know. So you can use it as a skin, but is it going to be a clear skin or is it an opaque, like a white skin? Now, what I don't like about this is it yellows. So if you can see that, and it also chipped away, but all of them will chip away if I mess with them. So I just put a matte medium on top to preserve it. So if you can see it a little bit on here, this is on collage paper, and you can see some of the cream. And this is where it's really obvious. I just put it on just plain white, and it's yellow. So that alone knocked it out at the running. Although, this is a piece of magazine, and it crackled so nice. And you can't see the fact that it's yellowing here, that you can see the yellowing there. So this one is marked off the list, even though it's the easiest to get. You can get it from Michael's. Okay, I think that's all she wrote. So, one more thing. So I got a little obsessive the other day. So all the ones you just saw that I made, that I just showed you, like this, like all of these, were all made on harder substrates. So they were made on either watercolor paper, mixed media, Bristol board. And I was thinking the other day, well, I'm not going to actually, I don't want to really do it on Bristol board because I don't collage with Bristol board. I collage onto Bristol board. So I would take like this collage paper that's thin and paste onto Bristol board. So I wanted to just test out to see if it would work if I use the cheap paper. And cheap paper basically is what I was demoing on. It's this is a book paper. So the typical papers that I use are either magazine, like this is a book paper. This is, I think, copy paper that I've painted on. This is rice paper, and this is drawing paper. So that's what I would typically paint on if I'm not doing magazines. So I wanted to see if all 5 of those would work equally well. So I took my 5 favorite products. So I've got golden. I have magazine. Oh, I got here. Magazine, drawing paper, copy paper, an old book, and rice paper. And if you can see this, it's all the same. So as long as the paper this is actually glued to a sketchbook that's very heavyweight mixed media paper. I mean, it all looks the same. Golden is probably my least favorite because it looks more like, what is it called? It looks like almost like concrete cracked, and it doesn't take, the kind of cracks are not what I like as much. This is a TriArt. Love the TriArt. And again, it's just all different papers. So I just had to see if it would work before I invest any more money. This is the Liquitex, my least favorite because it doesn't make very big cracks. This is the crackle paste, which they're not showing good cracks here, but I love the crackle paste. It's gorgeous. And the crackle glaze, you can't really see it here either because I didn't have a big enough base. But if you look closely, it is cracking, and it's cracking clear. But I totally adore this. This is the texture paste, and that's $2.50 an ounce. Oh, sorry about that, but it just cracks. Really, really gorgeous. So I wonder if Annette answered my questions. I'm looking for you, Annette, because you were the one that said something about chroma. Annette, so do you paint in with your crackle medium? Because you can. So can you add to that? So you actually take the crackle itself and paint into the cracks? Is that what you're saying? And then the other thing, I'm just reading I haven't tried the Pabio crackle. So at student grade, well, that's good to know. It dries a little matte. So I'm looking for more of your comments. I've used it. It works really well. Freezer paper because you can peel it off. So Annette, that's what I'm wondering. So when you say it works on freezer paper, is it drying kind of like this, kind of like opaque, and then you can peel that off, or is it drying more like this? So it's clear, and so you can just peel like off a thin clear thing. So I'm wondering which one that would be. Sounds like I should go by the chroma crackle too. So I may just have to try that also. I was trying to not be as excessive as I look like I am. But, you can't really tell, what is going to work until you try it a zillion different ways, which is what obviously I've done. So anything else? So I'm curious what you mean, Annette, by putting the crackle into, let's see. No, hold on. There you go, Annette. You can use the clear crackle. Mix paint into the crackle medium And when it cracks, the color cracks. Boy, I wish I could, I need you. Unfortunately, when I stop this live, that comment will go away. That's so fascinating. So I'm going to have to memorize that. Joe, take a picture of that for me. Or Tina. So that I can remember that. I got to try it. More clear. Mixing paint into the crackle medium works better in a clear medium, not just a paste. Good to know. It's a skin. Okay. Anyways, that is the end of my crackle for experiment. However, it's obvious that I'm going to have to now get chroma medium, which I was trying to avoid. Is it chroma? Chroma something. But anyways, because, having 7, but now I'll have 8, I got to have all of them. So anyways, thank you for coming along for this ride, my crackle ride. I am calling myself a crackle connoisseur, but obviously Annette and Barb, more than me. So can you paint with the crackle like acrylics? Well, I'm kind of in painting. So if I want a white space in particular, I could put the crackle down. It will crack, it'll stay white. But then I could also put some paint, some inks into the cracks. So it'll, I could also paint the whole thing, but it'll just, I can make it blend in with the collage that I'm making it. Annette. So Annette, I can't capture your email, but I would love to. Kensington Art Supply. Oh, sounds like you know something. Would you mind putting it in the comments as soon as I shut this down? Or into the, I also have a announcement, the little yellow block, Instagram. If you could put your email then, because I can't write it down right here. Anyways, thank you for all of you who have lent your expertise to this, added to my expertise, because, I don't know everything. I'm actually learning as I go, obviously. And that's why I'm experimenting like a happy person. Thank you for coming. And I will see you next Tuesday at 2 with another grand experiment. Bye, Julie. Thanks for coming. Have a lovely Tuesday. Bye.